Let's return now to our coverage of the retirement of Justice Olukayode Ariwoola. I'm joined by the chairman, body of bencher, and a senior advocate of Nigeria, Awomolo. Senior advocate, thank you for joining us on the news this hour. Unlike his predecessors who resigned under controversial circumstances, we have seen Justice Ariwoola retire quite honorably today after 43 years in the legal profession. What's your assessment of his tenure as Chief Justice in the past 2 years?
Well, thank you very much. Good evening, viewers. I want to let you know that Honorable Justice Olukayode Ariwoola has performed excellently well in his office as a Justice of the Supreme Court and in his office as a Chief Justice of Nigeria for about 2 years. Well, significantly, he became Chief Justice of Nigeria at a time when there was some turmoil, some rumpus in the judiciary of the highest court in the land. At that time, all the justices of the Supreme Court, about 10 of them, protested against the manner by which the Supreme Court was being governed. And for the first time in the country, it became such that the Chief Justice then had to resign or had to retire, so that because he could not carry on with his colleagues. In any event, Ariwoola became the Chief Justice and he stabilized the court. He carried his colleagues around, and from what he said to us in the Supreme Court today, he rearranged the management of the Supreme Court by setting up committees headed by justices of the Supreme Court to take care of the litigation of court processes, technology of the court, finances of the court, and administrative arrangements of the court, such that both the workers and justices of the Supreme Court were satisfied and happy with him.
Indeed.
And again, for the last 35 years, the Supreme Court has been operating under a rules of court. You know, the rules of court is the engine by which all processes and procedures were followed. So, for the first time in 35 years, he brought about a new rules that will now regulate the Supreme Court, and that makes the administration of justice faster. You know, there is this principle that justice delayed is justice denied. He, as the Chief Justice, who came from the background of a legal practitioner in private practice, knew what it was to have your case delayed. I mean, there are instances when litigants' cases were mentioned, and they say, oh, he's now late. And no, so it's a very painful thing for any judge to be called upon to decide a case in which the litigants were dead. The third thing I can say is that you will know that for the last 10, 12 years or 15 years, the salaries of justices of the Supreme Court and judges all over the country have become stagnated, and it was something that was of great concern to both the bar and the bench. For the first time, was able to collaborate with the executive, the Office of the Attorney General, the National Assembly, and were able to amend the law and therefore enhance the salaries and conditions of service of justices and judges. So for me, that's an achievement of a man who is wise, of a man who has experience, a man who knows the nitty-gritty of administration and the need for both the executive, legislature, and judiciary to collaborate for the good of the country. And so if you look at the whole lot of it, again, for the first time in the history of the Supreme Court, he got full compliments of justices, so that there will be accelerated hearing of cases, there will be easy administration of justice, and essentially, Nigerians will be happy with our administration of justice. About a few months ago, the Office of the Attorney General, the NBA, and the Chief Justice of Nigeria collaborated for a judicial reform process. And the new incoming CJN will be responsible for taking on from where he stopped by remodeling, refashioning, and reprocessing administration of justice all over the country, so that there will be quick dispensation of justice, so that it's not only getting judgment, but getting judgment and justice at the same time.